Welcome back, Howie.
Hi, Mika.
Hey, we
This
got a
is
little
much
bit of
better,
time.
right?
This is so much better. Welcome back.
I've changed everything, device, place of this
That's
helps.
good. That's good. I think you did a wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
Then let's begin with that. Who is Howie Alemayehu? Because we didn't get to hear anything before.
Okay, so well, my name is Howie. I'm 27 years old. I live in Addis. I love Addis. Um,
You love
well,
Addis.
I I love Addis. So, yeah,
Okay.
Addis has just this vibe I can't even explain. It's just beautiful. So
Mhm.
but yeah,
Mm.
so young working in tech. Well, we're not going to cover that now, but we'll talk about it later. I work at we have an audiobook and podcast application, which was the idea of the co-founder Jimmy, who um,
Before that, before that,
later on.
before that,
So
before
about
that.
myself, I was born and raised here in Addis,
Mm.
but when I was about 12, I moved to Namibia where I grew up and lived there
Namibia.
for about, yes, Southern
Okay.
Africa, next
Mm-hmm.
to South Africa, Botswana, there.
Mm. Yeah.
So amazing place. I don't know if you know about it, but
Yeah.
really beautiful place. I grew up there. Moved back to Addis in 2019.
Why did you go there, by the way?
Um, uh, well,
Sorry,
my parents moved there. My
I'm,
parents
so-
moved
I'm
there
sorry.
for work, and
Sorry, just for a
it's
second. For
just
a second, Mayo, do you have like
okay.
another device turned on because there's this background voice that is coming in?
Oh, really? Is it my voice?
No, no, it's okay. But like me, when I talk, there's a feedback of the voice coming. Always, it does that if you open, let's say YouTube, it happens like that. So if you let's say if you open YouTube, you need to close it.
No, I don't have YouTube open, but I'm just gonna
Uh,
close everything on my phone in case that's the problem. Did it stop now?
hello? No, no, I still hear the background.
Really?
Unless 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 if every time when I talk I need to mute you. So just in case if like you like StreamYard is open in like two different browsers or two different devices, it needs to be just one. We usually have that if it's like that.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. Try to see if the
Hello?
feedback is there. Um,
Oh, now
no,
it's okay. It's a little bit right now. I'm trying to listen to myself. All right. All right. I think now it's
because
good. Now it's good. Yeah, now
it's
it's
good.
good.
Okay, I don't have
Now
anything
it's good.
open, so I don't know what could be the problem.
Okay.
So where was I? Namibia? Is that where I was?
So we're talking about Namibia, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so my whole family moved to Namibia and then lived there for about 10, 11 years. It's fantastic. Moved
Wow.
back here in 2019 and we've been around here for 3 years now. So I'm in a
Oh,
way new to Addis because Addis has changed a lot over the past 10 years, quite a lot.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
just love Addis here. Sometimes I feel like a tourist. Sometimes I remember the places I grew up. So
Mm.
yeah, that's basically me. I think you can ask me anything I've forgotten.
Yeah, yeah. For you, I just want to know about your. Yeah, I hear it again. I'll do this then. I just want to know a little bit about your education background. Like, what did you study? And why did you start what you started? Because we kind of like have people who stud things that let's say their parents want them to study, and we kind of have people who since they were a little kid, like they had this dream to start something, and they started to pursue that, and they went to university and they start. Yeah, so I want to know the education background story of you.
Um, let's see. I mean, since you mentioned being a kid and wanting to be something, I think I remember being very young and wanting to be an astronaut because I was very fascinated by space. But I don't know if it's true, but you've got to go to school for 20 years after grade 12 to be an astronaut.
Mm,
And then you become an astronaut. You might not become an astronaut. It depends on a lot of things. So I abandoned that plan.
Yeah.
Interestingly, later on, I found out I can't even be a pilot because I'm too short. There's a height limit to
Come on, come on. Are you
that.
serious? Like in order to be a pilot, you like there's a limitation of the height.
To be a hostess and a pilot, there's a height limit. You can't just can't just be a hostess and a pilot. Like, that's what I know because so on the application form they have a minimum height, and
Yeah.
let's not say how tall or short I am, but I don't make it. So, but
You know what?
that's a huh.
Just pray for us, Soil Nation One Africa. Maybe later on in the future we'll start the aviation. Soil Nation One Africa aviation. Whatever, we'll buy planes, and then you can be the pilot.
Thank you. Thanks. So I really don't know what I don't know. I don't know. Can you think of an idea why they would have a height limit on being a pilot? Because I don't think it has anything to do with your brain.
Exactly. That's really surprising because even if you're short, I mean, we can create, like, let's say this is really big plane, and we can create a little seat just for your shortness, for your height, like this little seat, like a baby seat, like for you to sit there and to be able to do. Like, it has nothing to do with your brain.
That's my reasoning, but since it's like I don't know if it is an international standard, but I know I did see it on an Ethiopian Airlines application form. So I think it's
Oh,
1.72, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but now we already know I'm not 1.72, but I think it's about 1.72.
no, that's really weird. I think we need to ask people. You guys, let us know in the comment section if you know why there's a limitation of height just to be a pilot. We need to know that.
I've no idea. I kind of understand why you can't be an air hostess because I think it has to do with the overhead cabin.
Mm-hmm.
You can't reach it to close it. That I completely understand because I can't reach it to close it. I always have someone close it for me when I fly. I get that, but to be a pilot, I mean, they don't even have the gas pedal and everything. So what has that got to do with my height? I always see them on TV, flying the plane with their hands and then a few buttons. So, but anyways.
How is your height, by the way? Because you talk a lot about your height, and I would love to know that. You don't look like you're that short.
No. Okay, so I'm 1.53 on paper, 5'4" when I need to argue with my sister, 5'5" depending on who I'm talking to. But I think officially the other day I went for like a height check because I had a medical checkup and she wrote 1.55 and I wasn't going to argue with her. So I was like, cool.
Okay.
I'll take that.
So, that's good to know. So what did you end up studying?
So back in Namibia, I did the course was called Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. I think what we were doing was computer engineering, but it was very interesting. I left after 3 years. We came back here, and then here they did not have that. They only had that as a master's, not as a not as a bachelor's degree, right? So, and anyways, I thought, oh, man, like I only liked some of it. I liked it, but I liked some of it. Website design and social media marketing. I did digital marketing. I did digital marketing and website design. I worked on that for the past 3 years. That was basically what I was doing. It was interesting. And then because, at work, we cover a lot of, all of us cover a lot of, it's a startup and you cover all the positions possible. If it's work, you've got to do it. So I did admin and finance. I didn't like it very much, but hey, it was nice. I like work, so yeah.
Okay. So I think that's pretty good to know about you. It's kind of like a good introduction. Now let's talk about SEM. What is SEM, especially for those people who don't know, and how this idea came to existence, and yourself personally, how, like, when did you get involved to this SEM? Anything that we should know?
Okay, so I wouldn't say I came up with the idea. Our founder Jimmy came up with the idea. So he's a um lover of tech. He works in tech, and so he lives abroad. And one of the issues was Ethiopian books are printed here. And if you live abroad and you want to read, the latest Ethiopian book, you'd have to ask someone to bring it for you. And there is a luggage limit, and people don't want to carry books for you because books are heavy, you know. So it's really hard to get books when you're abroad. And so he thought, if we actually have books as audiobooks, then anybody can access them from anywhere in the world. As long as you have an audiobook, you can have it as soon as it's released. And it was something that was not widely done when we started it back in 2020. So so he came up with the idea of, hey, let's have an app where we produce Ethiopian audiobooks. Later on, it expanded to hosting podcasts. And so that's how the idea came about. And yeah, so it's just all about, making Ethiopian books available to all. There are blind people that can't access books unless it has been written in Braille, which is really not, which is really a lot of, for example, fiction books are not available in Braille. So, audiobooks are an amazing alternative for blind people. And it was just in that way. And also just now we have audiobooks because we make them.
Yeah. Well, that's really powerful. And when did the founder, you said, what was the year that he came up with this, and how is it going so far?
So we started in March 2020. Since then we have, we've got this app going, really good features. We've got more than 100 audiobooks that we have produced so far. So we produce the audiobooks as well. So with some, for example, if you take Audible, they would, you can produce audiobooks and then host it there. So what we do mostly, and we do accept authors that have their own audiobooks, and we take their audiobooks and host it on our platform as well. But for most of the books, what we do is we produce them into audiobooks, and then we upload them onto our platform so people can buy them and listen. So in the past, I think like 2.5 years, what we've done is, we've made an app, we've produced the audiobooks, we've made them available to listeners. One of the biggest milestones was making them available for download in Ethiopia and integrating payment systems here. And we've now, I don't know if you know about Telebur, but we have partnered with Telebur now, and people can make payments through Telebur and buy the audiobooks. So that's how far we've come in the past 2.5 years. And really the goal is to expand to all of East Africa and making, starting from East Africa, but making, African books available to African listeners.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about before, because I have some other questions to ask you here. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comment section. I'll ask Howie here. But I want to know this. How did you guys find out about, specifically because I received the email from you, how did you find out about what we are doing about this platform?
Alien Nation. Personally, I discovered it personally first. So Back when you started, you used to do, so when I moved back to Ethiopia here, I was very interested in East African languages. And Swahili is a Bantu language, which I'm a huge fan of Bantu languages. So we had briefly stayed in Swaziland, beautiful little country there by South Africa. We briefly stayed in Swaziland, and there they spoke Eswatini, which was close to Zulu, and it's one of those Bantu languages, and it was absolutely beautiful. So when we moved here, I thought, oh, Swahili is also like a Bantu language. It's really nice. Let me check it out. And I came across your videos because you did a few words of Swahili when back then. I don't know if you still do it. So I discovered you through that, watched a few of your videos, and so it was like, his content is like really nice. It's very, like African. Um, so we had a discussion about it, but this was only about, I think, a year and a half ago. And then so we kept on working, and we thought, the work is really big. Let's focus on what we're doing here. So we've been focusing here now, and now that we feel a little bit stable, we're looking outside of, okay, what's out there. And so we reached out to you again. And this time you responded. And I think we reached out to you back then as well, but I don't know how that went. Sorry. I also don't have any follow-up information. But I just remember, like, personally being very excited about your content. And and then eventually you actually started covering some really Ethiopian content, like music videos and reviewing them, and that was very interesting. So yeah, that's how we came across your channel. That's how I came across your channel, and then the team picked it up again now, and we reached out to you, and we're very happy that you reached back.
Oh yeah. Like, one thing that I think people, they don't know this, that we scheduled this show to do like 2 hours, 3 hours ago. Yeah, that's when, because the idea, it was to do something, through the app, and then and then we kind of like changed the idea to have this conversation. That's why we don't have the CEO here, because it was just last minute decision. Okay, yeah, let's get back to this one. I want to ask this. So, do you guys, let's say if anyone here, like, wrote their book and they want to, be part of this, they want to like put their books here and the audio, how does that work? Do I need to record the audio of my book and give you everything that I have? And to, if someone wants to partner with you guys or wants to put their work here, how does that work?
Okay, can you still hear me? Because I think
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me.
No,
Okay.
no. I'm saying, every time I speak, I'm trying to mute you because of that background voice is too loud and it's distracting. So that's why I'm trying to do that.
Okay, I see. Sorry. Right. Okay. So what we do is I think I want to start with part of what we do is ensuring that authors have their fair share for the books sold, for their books sold. So with every author that we work with, we have an agreement with them. So everything is on paper, and per every download that we have from our customers, our authors take a share. So when we have authors that come to us, first thing is we want to know, okay, what's the book, how many pages, because we're thinking in terms of production. How long is it going to take us to produce, all of that stuff? What is the content? What kind of narrators do we need? So when authors come to us, we try to find out about the book. We have an agreement with the author. And then if we are producing the book, then we carry on with that kind of agreement. Sometimes authors have, come ahead and they have already produced their books in audiobook format. And then, so we have a different agreement with them. We take that and we sell it. And from the sales, we pay what belongs to the author. So that's what we do with authors. And I know a lot of your audience is East African, Kenyan. And if there are authors that would like to reach to us to host their books on an African platform would be very happy to have them, and they can always email us from the email on our website, contact@semuaudiobooks.com. There's an online form they can fill out that directly emails us what their book is, what they're interested in. They can fill out that form, and we immediately reach out to them and start the process. And so we have the books hosted on our app.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. On us, this like, what are you guys looking to achieve? Because I believe that it's very important to read. Just to get different knowledge from different places. Even though me myself, I don't really read. I don't really read books. I just have to come clean. I don't really read the books because of this idea that sometimes I have that if I'm reading a book, then I just want to be reading with an intention of just knowing different perspectives, how different people view this or talk about this, but not really going in to be like, okay, this is how I'm going to live because this is their experience. Or if it's about the story, or if it is about historical facts, it's something that I need to lead to kind of like know where we have been and where we are going, right? So I still tell people to read books. Even me myself, sometimes I read when I find good books to do so. And I think it's really like nice initiative to kind of like tell our children's, our kids, and our people, youth to read. But I would like to know, like, what do you guys looking forward to achieve? That's first. And second, right now I know you say most of the books are in Amharic, but do you guys have any plan to expand across the continent? Because here we are working for One Africa, right? Are you guys having that idea to expand to the continent and maybe to have different languages, multiple languages, so that this app may be open to as many Africans as as we can out there?
So I'm just going to try to address everything that you said from the beginning about like not reading. That's something I've seen about myself as well. But I think it's not that you don't read, it's just that your content has probably changed and your form of intake of reading has probably changed. So what I have noticed with myself is like when I was a teenager, late teens, I used to read a lot of fiction and a lot of like hard copy books, thick books probably because they're fiction. Now I'm more interested in, okay, how do I become a better person? How do I get better at my work? All of that. So I find myself reading a lot of self-help, which happen to be smaller books versus fiction. So I'm going for 200 pages, 250 if I do hard copy. So I'm reading that. And then I read, if I'm not reading those, I read a lot of articles because I'm trying to learn something as quickly as possible. That's still reading, So sometimes if you're reading 10 articles a day, a week, I don't know, you're still reading, you're still taking in information. So don't kill yourself so much about I don't read anymore. You probably read. If you're collecting your ideas in a written form somewhere, you're reading. It has changed. I mean, with technology and everything, it has changed how we take in, knowledge. So that brings me to, yeah.
I'm reading the comments right now, so I'm reading.
Okay. So that brings me, to the goal of SEMU. What we have here, what we've observed here is a lot of young people have stopped reading at all, so the reading culture is kind of dying. A lot has to do with social media. People have started taking in their even historic information through social media, and it sadly does not help you to compare and contrast when you're getting your information from social media because you're getting like constant experts outside of context. So a lot of what books give you is context, so what we're doing is, okay, maybe you don't have time to sit down and actually read a book. Maybe you don't have, and genuinely, people are really, really busy. We have busy lives. So what we're doing is, okay, we will turn them into audiobooks so you can still take in knowledge and knowledge can still be transferred. But when it's an audiobook, you can still do it even if you're busy. Maybe you're you're doing work, maybe you are busy at home, you're busy with the kids, you're traveling, long commutes. We have that in Addis, very long commutes. Then you can listen to audiobooks, knowledge transfer, acquiring knowledge. It's really important for development, that uh, you it's the taking in of knowledge and just perspectives. Books show you perspectives, and so that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to bring back young people's interests, really everybody's interests, but mainly young people's interests in books. And then you mentioned about languages. Currently on SEMU, we have mainly Amharic, but we have three more vernacular languages that we have books in. We're very passionate about accommodating all languages within a country. In Africa, it's not like other continents where there are maybe one or two languages within the country. In Ethiopia, here we have several languages, several different languages, several different cultures. Here sometimes it's hard to find many books. You do find books, but it's hard to find many books in the smaller languages or in different languages besides Amharic. But when we do find languages besides Amharic, we're very happy to produce them and make them available. So on a larger scale as well, why we want to expand to Africa is, different languages, even smaller languages, they have books, and then those books can be brought forward to the audience, digitally through audiobooks. The problem with books also is that books get old. Sometimes, like the publisher sometimes is no longer interested in, reprinting that book. But once it's digitally kept, anytime you can just go back and listen to it, and it's one-time effort for the publisher. Like for us as audiobook publishers, it's one-time effort for us. There is no even making re-editions through audio is much easier than like in hard copies, because then you have to reprint the whole book. So preservation of knowledge is just, when it's digitalized through audiobooks, it's so much more, it's just so much more easier, and it's such a good mission, the accurate transfer of knowledge, and the like young people's perspectives are important, and books give you a good amount of perspective. The other thing I want to add is like podcasts give young people a good platform. Here radio stations need to be registered with the government, and I don't know how it is in Kenya or any other countries, but here you want to have an official radio station, you need to register it, and there are fees. But with a podcast, you just need your computer and a mic, and your ideas are good to go. And young people have a lot of ideas running around. And then you can discuss your ideas, run them around, assess them, see who likes them, and then you can have them up as podcasts, and it costs you so little. And it just gives young people like such a good platform of running their ideas, being creative without going through the hassles of registering with the government and all of that. It's just, do you want to have your own radio? You can have a podcast.
Look at that. She really knows business. That's really beautiful. One thing that I was really, inspired. I don't know much about SEMU. I just jumped right into this, after we had a very short conversation, because I'm always pro-Africa. And one thing that I love is that there's a lot of, podcasts out there, if it is Apple, if it is Spotify, if it is this and that. But one thing that I love about SEM is that is, Africa based. It's owned by an African, created by an African, run by an African. And so why not supporting that? Instead of using something else, like out there, we have a lot of different platforms like audiobook and all this stuff. Why don't we use SEMO, which is actually our own platform as Africans? Instead of using podcasts somewhere else, why don't we use podcasts in SEMO, to support, our very own? Because this is our thing, right? It's a time for us to promote that. It's a time for us to be proud of that, and to make sure that we put SEMU on the map. Because the reason why Spotify or Apple Podcast is there, it's because of people using it, talking about it, and all the stuff, right? And right now we have space on Twitter, right? And Clubhouse. I'm all of these platforms. I'm everywhere in these platforms. But why can't we promote our own stuff? Why don't we make, let's say SEMU to be something bigger like that? Why don't we make, let me promote myself as well. Why don't we make Swahili Nation One Africa bigger like that? Like if you just mention Swahili Nation, everybody knows that this is that. This is our responsibility as Africans. We cannot say that we are behind everything while we're not supporting our own stuff. We're not supporting our own things. We have to be in front of everything. Africa, it has more than how many billion people? We have a lot of billion people in Africa. I'm losing the track of number, but we have a lot of billions of people in Africa. If all of us young people, we wake up, we say, you know what, from now onward, I just want to support African things. I want to support African media, so I'm going to support SNN, Soil Nation Network. I want to support African platforms. If it is podcast, I'm going to support SEMU. I want to support Africa. If we do that, man, these whatever billion people, man, I'm telling you, the sky is not the limit for Africa. Because what's going to happen is all these platforms and people that they have, they're going to generate income. They're going to hire more people. So there will be like increasing of, employment, and there's so many other factors will happen, when we start supporting our own things. We need to have as many as African platforms to support. But most of platforms like this, most of them, they bankrupt at the end of the day, and then they stop doing it. Most of people who run things like this, they runs out of the own capital. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have capital, you bankrupt because nobody's there to support. They would rather go and download a book from some other, foreign application and pay a lot of money for that. Or rather go and watch, subscribe for Netflix and pay a lot of money for that. But, not giving €5 for the offices of Soil Nation in One Africa. Can you imagine? Like just €5 donation. And I gotta talk to you. You gotta talk to your boss as well. That now you guys, you need to donate for the officers.
Yeah, definitely helping each other.
Exactly. We're lifting each other up. So now I'm sending this request that I'm gonna send to you this link to send to your boss and to you as well. You guys have to donate for Soil Nation One Africa offices. We're already registered, and now we just need office. This is how we support our own. Okay, look at this. We have Dunamis right here, but choose. He was listening what I was talking about. Look at this. This Dunamis right here. He's supporting African media by giving donation of $20. Thank you so much, Dunamis. You're my boy. All right, okay. You're the man. Let me say you're the man. You're the man, and I appreciate you because there are people listening here. You know what I'm saying? So I was just saying this. I'm just really passionate about this, that it's the time for us Africans to change the narratives. It's the time for us Africans to put Africa on the map. Nobody's going to do that. Not CNN, not BBC, all right, not Al Jazeera. They're not going to do that. The only thing that they're doing is to put Africa down, is to create their own narratives, their own stories. That's what they do. But if you find African media like this, if you find African application like SEMU doing something amazing for Africans, created by African for the Africans, why don't we support? Why don't we step outside and be like, this is my own thing. This is mine. Why? And so a lot of people, they ask me a lot of time, I'm sorry, I'm taking over your interview, your conversation. A lot of people, they're asking me that, oh, why you talk about Ethiopia a lot? Why you talk about this and this? Because this is Africa. We must talk about Africa. We must put Africa on the map. We must defend Africa. We must give everything we have for Africa because this is where we're born. We might run away, but we'll come back here because outside there, even people in the diaspora, they're planning to come back home because this is home. This is our place. If you don't prepare this home, I'm telling you, man, I don't know, like, where are we going to end up? Those guys, some of them, they think that we used to be monkeys. That still happen even today in the European football. This still happen. Still happened just couple days ago. This guy, the Brazilian player, his name is Vinicius Junior. He scored the goal and he was dancing salsa. And this guy, I think, I don't know if it was the guy. He said, "Hey, you cannot dance like a monkey." Just the other day. This is how the world sees us as Africans. We cannot victimize ourselves and be there that, they think I'm monkey and all those stuff. No, no, no. Forget about that, Forget about that. F that. Forget about that. We have to stand up and to start supporting our own things. We have to put Africa on the map. So I'm talking to you guys who are watching here. This is the time to do that. So if you don't know anything about SEMU, I shared the link in the comment section. Go ahead and download it right now. And when you do that, do this as well. Go to this link and donate for the offices, Soil Nation and One Africa offices. Oh my goodness. I love what I did there.
That was really nice. Can I just add something that I really believe in, like personally, as like a service provider? I think when we provide service, I think we also misunderstand that we have a responsibility as a service provider. If we are asking support us, because if we're saying support your own, support us, then we have a responsibility to provide up to standard services as well. I think I'm a huge fan of local products. I'm really a big fan. But at times you find that local products, at the end of the day, you're also a user and you're also a customer, and you are also exposed to other products. And as much as I'd like to support, I would also like to get a certain level of service. So I think as service providers, there's also a certain level of responsibility that we have to take to provide service that is up to standard. So then we make it easier to be, to be supported by our own audience. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to add. But yeah,
I love what you said, because what I'm trying to say here to everybody, I love what you said so much, that I'm not trying to say that as long as everything is African, you should go ahead and you support. What I'm trying to say is, as you're saying right now, this is such a very beautiful point you made, that it goes both ways, right? I can go to Netflix to watch the show there because it's high definition quality video. I'm looking at that. I enjoy seeing the high, like HD videos, all right, 4K or something like that. But if you have your own app there and it has like 250 HD, I ain't gonna watch that because I'm not gonna enjoy. So we have a responsibility for us to provide as good service as we can. If it's a restaurant, if it's the business, you have a responsibility to deal with the customer service. That's something I think we're gonna need to talk about one day. I'm gonna come here and talk about just customer service in Africa. I think it's something that we need to improve. Right? We're gonna need to improve. Like even us here, I mean, we're saying that you guys support us and do this and this. We need office, whatever. All this stuff is because of the quality of the work that finally we want to start producing, and not just doing from home like this, behind the couch, and you see I'm sitting on the couch and all this stuff. But imagine if you're doing this in the studio, in the office. Imagine that, right? So we have that responsibility as an African to set a high standard of what we do. If it is content, to set high standard. And shout out to a lot of content creators in Africa. They're doing an incredible job, really incredible job when it comes to the content creation. It's amazing. So it's just a matter of people to go ahead and to support and to do that. And yeah, so I love that, that mindset. And I think just because people are supporting you, it doesn't mean that you should give whatever that you think you give. No, you receive feedback, accept feedback, all right, and work on those feedback and provide something good that people will love and enjoy.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've downloaded the app, but when you download SEMU, SEMU, the one thing that we've really put effort into is making it up to standard with all internationally available audiobook and podcast applications. We've tried to include as many mainstream features as possible. So when you are transitioning, perhaps, maybe you're choosing to support your own and you're transitioning from Audible to SEMU. We don't want you to have a shock. We want you to have as seamless a transition as possible, but something familiar, but that feels like home. So that's why we've really invested into making the app really up to standard, trying to, following up on customers. And if we see a customer is struggling to sign up, we immediately call, try to follow up what's going on. We've seen that you are struggling a little bit. How can we help? You can reach out to us anytime. We try to reply to emails as soon as possible. So we're just focusing on the service side. So it becomes easier for people to choose you. Because I mean, I don't know, treat others the way you want to be treated. If I go to the ice cream shop, I want up to standard treatment. So when people come to get served at my establishment, then they must get up to standard treatment. But that as service providers and as businesses and as institutions, that's something that we must take responsibility for, and not just expect people to support us because we're your own and you don't have to, but we provide good service, and we're closer to home, so it would be nice.
Indeed, it's a business, and it's a service. Like, people, that means they're paying money for it, and the service has to be good. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I don't know if there will be of course, I mean, in different languages. I mean, you love Swahili, obviously. I wish you guys one day you add Swahili there, because this East African community and Swahili, the Swahili language that right now is, officially in the, AU, by AU, like in the entire continent. And there's so many countries are learning right now in South Africa, and in schools they're learning Swahili, in Rwanda, and in so many different countries. I think that would be really a big market strategy if you guys consider to add that as well in the near future. And because you have Swahili Nation right here, and we're talking about it right now, so I think it's something you can consider, and maybe in the future we can partner in any ways to make sure that SEM, it gets even more audience in the sides of the eastern part of Africa with that language, because language is what attracts people. And if people, they speak that, then I think you can easily get people for that. That's one thing. And second thing, anything you want to learn Swahili today, because it sounds like you said at the beginning that you were really fascinated by that, and I'd love to teach you a little bit of Swahili.
So I first want to say you can use this SEMU app in Swahili. So we've translated all the features. So when you download the app, it asks you to choose from 7 languages, and one of them is Swahili. So you can choose to use the app in Swahili. I think I'm going to hold you accountable before people. If there are Swahili books that you feel are absolutely worth producing, and you'd like to contact us with the author, would be very happy to reach out to them, and would be very happy to have Swahili books on our app. But
so are you trying to say that you're just making me the SEMU ambassador, because I'm really expensive?
Okay, right before you said expensive. Would be very happy to to have a contact in Kenya, really. Honestly, none of us.
I'm in Tanzania, by the way.
Oh, you're in Tanzania. Okay. None of us currently speak Swahili. So, but definitely, I mean, that's not a limitation. We're really not just Swahili, but, working on, there are some widely spoken African languages that are not, famously known, but a lot of people speak them. And there's a lot of literature in those languages. So we really plan on branching out to those languages as well. But on Swahili side, I think we can count on your support in this part. So what was your other question? I seem to have forgotten talking about Swahili in the app.
The other question, it was what do you want to learn in Swahili? And guys, everybody who is watching here, guys, if you have any question, drop in the comment section. I'll ask how we here, because we are heading towards the end of this conversation.
Can I start by blurting out every word that I know first?
That's good. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so is sana Swahili?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
It means much or
Oh, so
more.
that's why they say sana sana.
Yeah, it depends on
That's
where
like a
you are.
lot.
It depends on where you're using it. You can say asante sana, it means thank you very much.
Okay.
Or pole sana, it means like I'm sorry very much. So sana, it's you can use in anything, which means much or more.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
and then Jambo is also Swahili.
Yes, it's Swahili.
What
Hi.
is that? Hi. Okay, Jambo is hi.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna try my last one, but I have no idea if this is Swahili. Must be Swahili. Where would I get it? Is nakupenda Swahili?
Oh yeah, yeah. It means I love you.
Yes. Okay. And that's all.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah.
I love you, and what much? That's all I know.
So anything else you want to learn in Swahili?
Do I want to learn in Swahili? How do you say? Um, oh yeah. How do you say like listen?
Listen. Oh,
Mhm.
stick here.
So can I say IKEA Sumu audiobooks?
Then okay. That you will say Sikiliza. Sikiliza Semu audiobook.
Sikiliza
Sikiliza
Sumu
Semu audiobook.
Sikiliza
Exactly.
Sumu audiobook.
Yeah. The word listen, you can say sikia or kusikiliza. It's like to
Kusikiliza.
listen. To listen is
Okay.
kusikiliza, but
Okay.
listen is sikia. But if you're using the sentence like that, listen to the like Semu audiobook, you can say sikiliza Semu audiobook.
Sikiliza Sumu audiobook. Okay.
Mm.
Now I've learned something.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Dunamis, what do you mean? What are those three widely spoken languages? Are you talking about in the entire continent, or are you talking about specific country, one specific country? Do you mind elaborating that a little bit more?
Oh, is this question from a listener? Can
From a
I
listener.
don't get it.
Yeah,
What are those three widely spoken languages? Is that in Ethiopia?
that's what I'm asking. If it is in Ethiopia
Okay.
or the entire continent, I think he's gonna let us know very soon. All right. You mentioned.
Okay, so, well, I don't know. In Ethiopia, we have several languages. It's not a lot of people because Amharic is the national language. Many people think every Ethiopian speaks Amharic, but that's not true.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
is Amharic, there is Oromifa, Tigrinya, Guragenya, uh, so those four are what we have on the SEMU app. We have books in those four languages. We are trying really hard to have books in other languages as well, but sometimes they can be a little bit hard to find. And but we're always very happy to hear pointers of, there's a book in this language. Would you like to contact the author? We're very happy about that. But like as Africans, we are very aware that each African country has several languages that are spoken within the country, and each language deserves, to have its spotlight. If there's a book in that language, it has to be read, translated into other languages, turned into audiobooks, turned into dramas, so that everybody can partake from the knowledge of that particular language.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the meaning of Semu, by the way? We didn't ask about that.
So sumu is the Amharic word for listen.
Oh,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
pronounce it?
You say sumu. So it's like, so
Simu.
mm, yes, for a guy you say sama, for a girl you say simi, and then for many people you say sumu. So it's like listen.
Simu. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I love that. I'll never forget, the meaning of listen in Amharic. Semu.
Yeah.
Semu.
So
All
can
right.
I ask you one
Mm-hmm.
question that's and then we can end off like you said. It's just one question I wanted to ask about like languages. In Swahili, when when so this is something that we encountered with SEMU as well. Audiobooks, there is an Amharic word for it, but it's not, it's not like sometimes you find an English word and then you can't quite find the exact word in your own language. So when that happens in Swahili, what do you guys do?
We still.
You steal the word itself.
Exactly. So, for example, in Swahili, let me try to mute this level. So, in Swahili, for example, we steal a lot of words from English. Actually, there's like for example, okay, we have like we might have like Swahili word and also like kind of like Swahili English word. You know what I'm saying? So, in Swahili, like pure Swahili, honestly, pure Swahili, it's kind of really difficult, right? So a lot of people, we end up just stealing some words and using English, in, for example, television. Sometimes you just say, oh, TV, television. We say that all the time. But if you just want to talk about television in Swahili, the name of television is Luninga. We say it's Luninga, right? So a lot of people, like most of the time, if we don't have like words, we just steal. So there's a lot of kind of like English words in Swahili. The same thing I've seen in Korea. They say Konglish. Konglish is like Korean and English. Like they are stealing words and they talk about that. Yeah, so it's always happening like that.
Yeah, so here it's a topic that I find super interesting that honestly I have not really formed my opinions on yet. I'm just seeing like everybody's perspectives on it. Some people really hate it when English words are brought into Amharic and used. They say it's very foreign. We have our own language, our own alphabet. Why would we bring an English word and use it? Let's make a word that is Amharic related to this thing and then use it. And there are people that do that. But that feels very foreign, especially for young people, because we're just so used to the words in English, And so there's just this differing opinions on what do we do with, and that is something I'm very interested in because I come across it a lot, especially during work, because we have Amharic text and then we want to say something like please share this post, and the word share right, is not the same as like sharing your like sharing candy is not the same as share this post, even in English, right? But in English they use the same word, understand different things, whereas in African vernacular languages, well, we never had this post before, okay, so now we've got to come up with a word. And it happens a lot with technology words, social media words like share, subscribe. I haven't heard an Amharic word for subscribe yet. Now they still say subscribe. They use this term become family. It's directly translated to become family, but it's not quite so there's like a lot of differing opinions, but I just wondered what other African countries with their own languages do, and now you've told me you just directly steal, and we are trying not to steal, but when they do come up with the words, it still feels a bit
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, they still are words too. They still a word like Akuna Matata, and it's crazy that Disney, they have a copyright for that word and it's our language. What the heck? We need to get that word back. Because we're sleeping sometimes, that's why they do that to us. Anyway, let me ask you this last question, Miss Howie. Why people should use your application, SEMU, and not use any other application? Okay, let's say they can choose to use anyone they want, but you understand what I mean when I ask that. Why SEMU? Like, why people should go today, download, and use it? Why?
Well, SEMU has a lot of features that are really just make listening very enjoyable. We are constantly releasing new books. We are constantly producing books, releasing new books. We try to release at least 2 books per month. So there's a large library of more than 100 books that we have, 100 audiobooks that we have released so far, different genres. You get different length books. We have some audiobooks that are about 20 hours, so you can really go on with the stories. And we work with authors, then you know that your favorite author is really getting um, their piece. The authors know that they are working with us, so we really try working in a legal manner. We understand the African community as well as the African diaspora and what they are looking for, and those problems are what we are trying to solve. We have many podcast channels that a variety of podcast channels that would interest young people. We have books for kids, so sometimes when you are in a long commute with the kids, it's hard to have something that you can enjoy and then they can listen to. So some of our kids stories and kids contents is something that can be enjoyed by kids and their parents. um, yeah, and just an overall really great app, and we're constantly working behind the scenes to give you newer and newer content, so large library.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I just remember another word that English stole is safari. Safari is Swahili word, which basically means journey. So we're doing what
Okay,
they did to us.
okay, I'm learning. I didn't know those two words were actually stolen and copyrighted. That's a little bold.
I wish to go there to the museum and to take all the artifact back home. I'm going to steal back, because they stole it. So why don't we steal them back? And I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that crown of the Queen Elizabeth II because it still have the diamond from South Africa. Can you imagine that
Yeah,
until today? It's
yeah,
crazy things. Anyways,
yes.
the last thing, I would love you as Howie to tell people why do you think reading is important for you? I know you just like me, we don't really read in that old way of reading. There's a different ways. I love that you say that because apparently, yes, I read a lot. If that's the case, then I do research. I listen a lot. I love listening. I love watching, and I love doing that. So I think I read a lot. Why do you think we should encourage our people to read, and especially young people here in Africa, and especially to read African books? To know their story, to know where they're coming from, to know our society. Why do you think it's very important to read?
It's about the taking in of information. Literacy is so important. This is something that I have noticed here. I don't know how it is. I really don't have the statistics over the rest of Africa, but here we have quite a little bit of illiteracy, which is very sad to see. Sometimes you go to the bank and people can't fill out their own forms. It's really just very sad. We need large campaigns on literacy. It's reading is just a basic human need for someone to be able to write their name, their age, and just basic information about themselves and recognize their name. It's just really important. So that's something, literacy on its own. It's something that we really need to work hard on. But then beyond literacy, reading gives you perspective. Reading helps you to see where someone else is coming from, to understand where you are coming from, to understand what somebody else sees that you are not seeing. So reading is how you take in information, how you take in knowledge. Um, there's just a lot kept in books. That's how humans communicate from one generation to the next. You die, but the book lives on. So that's how you get to talk to the people that come after 200 years, 300 years. Of course, you have to take the responsibility of writing accurately because you don't want to be telling lies down the line. But once, that responsibility is taken in, the information is taken in through reading, and that it's so important to read. It's so important to keep learning, but in order to be able to do that, you need to keep reading. So books are just really important. Our main focus is like books, and how do we preserve books? How do we make books easily accessible? How do we make books really interesting? So with narration, we really put in the effort to bring out the character, so that the listener stays engaged and wanting to finish that book. So in the long run, we also want to move from narrating not only fictions but also academic books. Academic books, also history books. Just making sure that information is being passed on, and that we have a generation that has perspective and does not only see things in one direction, because it's so important for young people to just have perspective. Where am I coming from? Where am I going? And what do I need to change right now? And books play such a big role in all of that.
Yeah. Well, well said, Howie Alemayehu. Finally, let me know the meaning of your name. What's the meaning of Howie, and what's the meaning of Ali Alemayehu? You know, I'm learning. I'm reading right now. You see?
Okay, so my name, in Oromifa, my dad intended it to mean wish. So he named me Howie because it means wish in Oromifa. So, but recently, I think about after I moved here, there is another language in Tigrinya. It means fire.
Oh,
So someone said to me, "Oh, like fire," and I said, "No, like wish." And they were like, "No, no, no, it means fire." And I was like, "Oh, it also means fire." And then my sister said, "See, that one describes you a lot." So
hmm.
that means, but yeah. So my dad intended it for it to mean wish, but in a different Ethiopian language, it also means fire.
Hmm.
So
I'm sorry. Sorry, can you say that again?
yeah, no, I said, it means wish. My dad intended it for it to mean wish, but it also means fire. So I said, after you get to know me, you get to decide which one it means to you.
Yeah, I think it looked like fire. I didn't know that. Well, I keep saying it's the last one, but I really want to get this one out of my chest. I want to know your view, at least to know about, One Africa, because the day that we have, every time we have conversation with the guests, they become part of the family automatically. We don't let them go; they become part of us. So that means every single day they come here and they watch and they talk to us, and we have this long run relationship, like we never ending, because we want to unite Africa. And I believe, as I'm talking to you right now, we are uniting Africa, because I didn't know you before. Today we are getting this chance to get to know one another in front of all this audience, so we get to the people here in Soul Nation, they get to know who is Howie, they get to know like what is Semi. Even tomorrow, if somebody sees you in the street, is, oh, that's Howie Alemayehu. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we bring our people together. So I want to know your view about One Africa, which is, the move. And let me just say this a little bit, just to let you know what we stand for. And for everybody there, if you're new to this family, you don't know what we stand for, it's very important for me to share this a little bit, and then to hear your view and your perspective about that. If you want to leave any comment to that, I really appreciate. So this is our vision towards a One Africa of solidarity in peace and love. And this is our mission: to defend the image and to bring back all the heritages of Africa, to decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge. So here, your application can work here as well, to decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge. That's why I wanted to have this conversation as soon as you guys reached out to me, right? And create bridge for oneness and peaceful Africa. We need a one Africa, and in the peaceful Africa, to be able to do our daily activities and everything that we do. I want to know your view about One Africa, what you believe about that, and anything that you want to say about that. And also, you can add your final words to talk to our people. And of course, this is the beginning of so many other conversation in the future.
I think I get your mission, but I think maybe like one thing that I can say that perhaps can also connect to yours is, I really believe in loving your own and creating your own, and just making your own things. I think not just as Africans, but people, as a whole, we want to be included. So sometimes it feels like, they're not including you, or they're not seeing you, and maybe they're doing it on purpose, and maybe they are doing it on purpose. I don't know. But, if I always say, if you want to be included in something, make your own something to be included into. So I really love the take movement, that the startup movement that we have here in Ethiopia right now. A lot of abroad startups are being included here. So are being started here. So we have a so we have an Uber-like company here. We have an Uber Eats kind of company here. We have delivery startups. They're startups, but there are startups of like similar businesses that are abroad that are being started here, which is really nice. Because why wait to be included in someone else's business? Like, make your own. Why wait to be included in someone else's award? Make your own. So we have our own movies awards, our own music award, our own all of that awards. And I just really believe in that. And um, you understand your own so much better than someone else understands it. So make your own, whatever. Is it recognition that you see there that you want? Make your own recognition right here. Nobody understands your work than you do anyways, right? So make your own recognition. So with SEMU as well, I mean, why wait till Audible realizes, oh, there's a market in Africa? Just make an audiobook app here and start producing your own books the way you understand them and the way you understand each other. Um, you get what I mean? So that's something that I really believe in. Like, if you like someone else's party, you can always make your own in your own house. You don't have to be invited to the other one. So that's something that I believe in, that maybe would fit into your mission as well.
I think what I got from you, I can summarize by saying that, like, writing your own stories, telling your own stories, right? You don't want to wait to be included in somebody else's party or someone else to tell you a story, but you can tell your own story. And we all know that us Africans telling our own story, we tell it better than anybody else because we're Africans, we're born here, we know everything. So instead of waiting for Uber or Starbucks or whatever to come and to start something in Africa, we can actually start our own things because we have coffee, we have everything is coming from here, right? So that's how I got, and I love it because that is what basically we talk about here all the time. That is what basically we motivate. That's what we encourage, and all these talks on Monday, sometimes on Wednesday, it's with different like CEOs and creators and people who start their own stuff. It doesn't matter whether it's small or big. We always have conversation with them because we believe that through these conversations, young people, they get to be inspired. And somebody out there, maybe they give up on their dream, and just by watching this, they like, you know what, I should wake up. Look at these people, they're doing this and that. I should wake up and do something else. So I appreciate you, Howie Alemayehu, so much. Fire and I forgot the other meaning.
Means wish.
Oh, okay, good. Wish and fire. I appreciate. Man, that's kind of scary. I don't wish fire, by the way. As I say, how is wish fire? But that's such a beautiful name. And I think when you talk, I see this passion in you, and I see this fire coming out of you. So I think it makes sense. Your name is Howie. Thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you so much for reaching out. It's a pleasure, and I know we're gonna have some conversation, about the podcast idea that you actually mentioned in the email. That maybe your man might have podcast in SEMU in the near future. We don't know. Maybe we don't know. Let's talk and see how we can do that. So thank you so much for coming here. This is your home from today onward. It's your place, right? And I'm going to invite you in our groups, WhatsApp group, because you're part of the family. You're not going anywhere. We're keeping you here. And we appreciate you and extend our greetings to the CEO. We just decided 3 hours before this live stream. So hopefully, I'll have conversation with him, later on in the future, with him as well. Extend my greetings to the team as well. You guys are doing an incredible job. Keep pushing, keep doing. And if you need me, just know that I'm very expensive. Appreciate so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for having us, especially on such short notice, for making a slot for us. It was really nice being on your platform. I really enjoyed our conversation, and definitely reach out anytime. We will be reaching out to you. We really yeah, we're really big fans, and thank you so much.
I became a fan of you guys too as well. So I appreciate at the beginning we had a little bit issue with the internet. I think little devil didn't want us to have this conversation, but thank God that you got that wisdom of moving to another room and changing the device and this conversation. I enjoyed it as well. Like I really genuinely enjoyed it. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I was in the other room, but now I've moved to this is our living room. My mom is going to kill me for showing our living room to the whole of Africa. But yeah, so it was really nice here. Thank you.
Extend my greetings to Mama Fire.
Will do. And Dad Fire as well. He's the one that came up with the name.
Yeah, extend my greetings to Dad and Mama Wish Fire.
It's actually
All
a
right.
very common name in Ethiopia.
Mm.
It's very common, and now I think a lot of people name their businesses after their children. So there is like Howie Hospital, Howie Clinic, Howie Shop, Howie. So I'm a owner of many very businesses. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll talk again anytime. So you're always welcome, and you have my number now. So you're always welcome.
Thank you. Have a good.
Uh, sorry. I can you say that?
No, good night.
All right, guys. That is Howie Alemayehu, aka Wish and Fire. Man, it has been a great day. It's been a great conversation. If you guys were here from the start, I think you have seen how much we struggled at the beginning, but thank God that everything went so well. And here you are. It's very motivating to see young people, doing amazing big moves and have dreams, to transform the continent and to bring change. I love what how we said at the end about you don't need to be invited to your friend's party. You can actually make your own party and enjoy it, right? You just make your own thing. Like we need the mindset of creation, mindset of entrepreneurship, mindset of doing something on our own. We need that mindset because if we have that mindset, even later on when you become a leader of the country, you're not gonna always just ask for loans and aids from somebody else outside of Africa. No, you'll be like, you know what? I ain't gonna ask for that. We're gonna work to make sure that we have this. And you have leaders in Africa who prove that over and 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 over again. I hate laziness and I don't want Africa to be lazy. I don't want that. That's like the enemy, the biggest enemy that we are facing. And we need to say no to the laziness and to start working our ass off to make sure that we transform this continent, right? Create. You have an idea, create. You have the thought, create. I'm telling you, if you have an idea and you don't have the means how to do it, share with us. Share with us. Let's find partners how we can do that. Let's find partners how we can transform that. And now, guys, we're registered. So if you have an idea, you can always, do it with us. We're here for Africa, for you guys, for everybody. I appreciate. Thank you so much, guys, for coming here today. And for those who haven't given anything yet, let me just say that again. Guys, we still need you guys to stand with us in this movement and in this journey. And we want to appreciate everybody who has already contributed. We thank you. We appreciate you. There's a lot of things going on this year. We're actually closing 3 years since I started with Swahili Nation One Africa. So we're gonna be, having a little bit party because I think a lot of things we have achieved. We have registrations and hopefully we'll be having website and offices as well. So there's a lot of things that have been happening and we thank God for all of that things. I appreciate you guys who came here. I'm just gonna go ahead to thank God and then I'll be getting out of here. God, I thank you for such a beautiful day and for these beautiful people that came here to join with me and Howie as well. We had such a great conversation. I praise you. I give you thanks. Thank you that this conversation will help us to continue to understand one another and to continue to love one another and to continue to pursue our dreams and our careers and to do something that will transform this continent. I thank you as your people moving and going back to their daily works. Some of them, they're going to sleep. Some of them, they're going to work. Keep them safe. In your name, I pray. Amen. All right, guys. That's it for today. Don't hesitate to join us tomorrow. Every Tuesday, we have a Swahili show. It's basically from beginning to the end. It's only Swahili by the host, Paul Justin, at 9 p.m. East African time. It's a Swahili show, so come and join tomorrow. Wednesday, we have our open mic. Me and my brother, God's Power, will be here to just do some. It's surprise show, so it's very casual and really good show. If you want to sing, you come and you sing. If you want to dance, you come and dance. You do all this kind of stuff. Thursday, these days, I mean, Dr. Ebenezer, he's having a little bit of trouble with his schedule, but he'll be coming back with a Potential in Africa. Friday recap show. Saturday we have what is that? Diaspora talk with our brother Big E, and then on Sunday we have Mwenda Tezi, the Hidden Hands, and also Mwenda Tezi, he has some emergence, so he has been not doing, but he'll be coming back with his show again. And let me remind you guys to like this video. Biggie is reminding us here. Please like, because the more you like, the more people will see this video. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. And I will see you very, very, very soon. Always remember to love one another and to keep that peace, the bond of peace going on. And always remember to cherish the time that we have, that God has given us, and use it wisely. Choose wisely. Because the time is now, and you don't have tomorrow. You don't know. You're not guaranteed. So choose right now to love. Choose right now peace with your neighbor. Choose right now to become one. Not forgetting everything that you have, no. But just to remember that we are one people. Regardless of our differences, we're one people. We should embrace that. We should hold each other. We should work together. And I'm telling you, together, we're going to do wonders. Unity is power. We'll never know the definition, the true meaning of power if we are not united. And we need to be united. All right? Appreciate you guys. I think I'll leave you with I'll leave you with this video right here. And I'll be getting out of here. Thank you guys. See you soon.
So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.